Alright, hey guys. So today I'm going to be building a React to-do list app. So a lot of you were interested in seeing something with GraphQL and a to-do list, so I thought I would go ahead and put this together. So I'm going to be making a to-do list in React Native. And so let's just get right into it. So first thing, I'm just going to go to folder that I want to make this in, and I already have React Native installed on my computer, so I'm just going to do init, and then I'll call this to do, and it's going to go ahead and initialize the React Native part. So React Native is going to be my front end for this, and then my back end I'm going to do Feathersjs, and I kind of did a back end before with GraphQL, and I want to do Postgres. There we go. So I already made a a backend in GraphQL before. So I'm going to basically use this as a little template and for building the application. Okay, so we have the to-do list. I'm going to just go right into the to-do, and I'm going to start up tmux. That's how I like to develop. And we'll split the screen, and then we'll come back out, and I'm going to go ahead and clone, and this will be, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to React Native to do, and then we'll move to do inside of React Native to do. React Native to do. I'm just reorganizing the folder structure real quick so it's nice and clean, and then git clone, and then I'll call this server. Okay, so now I have the server. I'm just going to go ahead and start up the iOS. So React Native run iOS. This will start up the iOS virtual machine, just like a little iPhone. And then here is the, I can get this server started over here. So I think if I npm start, this should break. Actually, no, it won't break because I actually have that database. If I go into config, default, and I can just change my database to call rn to do. Okay, looks good. So basically what I was doing right there is I was changing the database, which database that I wanted the, oops, looks like this is starting up, what database I wanted the server to point at. So I wanted to point to, I'll show you guys, I wanted to point to a database called rn to do. So now I need to create that database, and I'm using Postgres, so I'll use pSQL. And I actually don't know if this is, okay, it is running, that's good. So then the first thing I'll do is I'll just create database, and then I called it rn to do. And okay, we created the database. Now if I do, I'm not going to do npm start because I'm actually going to change, let's go into the source, and I'm just going to make this full screen for now. So services, we want to get rid of some stuff. So we're not going to use secret burrito, so I'm going to get rid of secret burrito. We're not going to use taco, so I'll get rid of taco. Both of those are dead. So I'm going to have to go into the index file, kill taco and secret burrito. Now, viewer, I think we can keep. Let's just go to index. Yeah, viewer is fine. See viewer, hooks. Populate user, yeah. So viewer is fine. Viewer just gets the current user. And then user should be fine. GraphQL is what we're going to need to change. So if I go into GraphQL, schema, and actually I wish I didn't kill. This is still loading. It's taking its sweet old time. I wish I didn't kill the other files because I might want to use those for reference, but that's okay. Okay, so for now, let's create a to-do. Have an ID and make this capital. And it'll have a text and it will have a checked. And that'll be a boolean. I think boolean is a type. We'll find out. So for now, actually I should call this complete. So it'll have some text, complete. Get rid of that. Get rid of this nonsense. Root mutation, root. Actually, I can't kill root query. We need that. Root query viewer is fine. Let's just do to do. All to dos. And we'll return. That's fine. That's fine for now. List of to dos. And then we should have a create to do. And then we'll have a sign up and log in. Let's actually spell login correctly. Schema is fine. So email password to log in, that's good. That means we also need an authorized type, so I'm gonna bring that back. Shouldn't have killed that. That's way too many things I changed, so I'm actually not gonna do that. I was gonna undo back to where I had authorized, but instead I'll just come over here and go into the file viewer and grab that. So GraphQL schema, we need this authorized type because we're still going to be logging in. Okay, so the root mutation will have a create a to do. To create a to do, you just need to supply this text and then whether it's complete, and then we kind of want a default value because the default value should be false if they don't supply it. I wonder if you can do that in GraphQL. I'm sure you can. The type will be to do. We'll just leave it as like this for now. Let's see. Default value GraphQL. Can types have default values? That seems not what we really want. Say mutation. Default value GraphQL mutation. Delete article. This doesn't look like. Maybe you can't. We'll worry about figuring that out later. It's not that big of an issue right now. Okay, so this looks pretty good for the schema. Let's just pop over here. It looks like our React Native right here finished. Building, that's nice. Let's create another one. We're now going to go into the resolvers and I'm going to go up to the root folder of, you have to go to the root folder of Feathers to whatchamacallit. You have to go up to the root folder of Feathers to actually create like services and stuff. So I'm going to create a service. We'll call it description. It should ask for a name. There we go. Call it to do. It's a database. It's going to use Postgres. Do we want authentication? Yes. Create that for us. And then we can go back to resolvers. And then for now, I'm going to close this so we can have a full screen. All right. So I'm going to open up the resolvers in the GraphQL folder. And now we're going to have to change a few things. So now we have a to-dos. And we have users. We don't have that anymore. Okay, that's fine. For authentication, we'll use the same thing. Oh, you know what? I never npm installed. So let's do that real quick. See, did I set up yarn? I haven't set up yarn. And we don't need a vagrant file. And I'm going to remove rf, get rid of this git folder because I'm going to create a new git one. And we can kill the license and the readme. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. So I like setting up yarn because it just makes installing things so much faster. That's fine. Unexpected. Okay, so I've gotten this error before. If you ever gotten this yarn error before, unexpected, cannot convert object to primitive garbage thing. You go to your package JSON. It's one of these things. It doesn't like this keywords thing, I believe. And doesn't like this, doesn't like this, doesn't like this, doesn't like this. Basically anything that's like an object that's empty and we don't really need should just kill it. At least if it's not important to you. And then I'm just going to yarn, go ahead and install the dependencies that this package needs. Let those finish installing. And then once these are finished installing, we can set up basic resolvers. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just setting up the, we'll go back into services, GraphQL. I'm setting up the basic resolvers. For, you notice I made like a really basic GraphQL schema right here. Now we're just setting up some resolvers. I'm just going to get this stuff set up a very basic level, and then we'll get more advanced when we get into it. So basically a to-do should be tied to a user. So actually let's go back out. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to associate a user to a to-do. So we have to go into to-do, and I believe it's hooks index. And there's like a populate user. If I go back, oh, I shouldn't have closed that. I'm just going to look at the project I made as a reference. So if we go to source, services, secret burrito, hooks, I want this. Associate current user. And that's on create. Oops. So on create, I want to associate the current user with the to-do. So what that does is it adds like another little field to this to-do over here, which is the owner ID. So we can actually just add that to our schema as well. And that's something I forgot to do as well. So using GraphQL, we actually need to set this. Oops, not there. This is going to be in the to-do model. Okay, so I have an ID by automatic. Do I need to set up a like foreign key Okay, so right now, notice how we have an owner ID here, right? This owner ID is going to match up with a user, and usually in a database, you set up a foreign key to relate them. It's going to be a, let's see, you can have many to-dos as a single user, so it's one to many. For now, because we're not going to have users sharing to-dos, at least for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a basic to-do app, and then I'm just going to add features on top of it. For now, let's leave the owner ID field out, and just see if we get an error when we create it. So text, we don't want that to be false, and then complete, this will be a boolean. Actually, we'll keep that. Okay. So now that's our schema, and we can go back to our resolvers. What folder am I in? Okay. Alrighty, so here we will have to-dos, and this will what? To-dos. Okay, so this will fetch all the to-dos for a user. Looking at the owner ID. Root query, we have an, do we create, yeah, all to-dos, which is going to be all to-dos. Oops, it's going to be to-dos. And right now, this is actually won't work because we have authentication. It'll be all to-dos for a user, which we need to guard it. For now, I'm going to get rid of all to-dos. Right, you only can get a viewer right now. Root mutation, you can create a to-do still though. Create to-do. To-dos.create, passing in the data. Perfect. Login. And we don't need this. Actually, we can leave that. Okay, so our resolver looks like it's all done. And I think I'm just going to leave the back end as is right now. So the cool thing about, oops, other way. Cool thing about GraphQL is you can test it out with their interactive. Oops, I need to start the server. They have an interactive little GraphQL editor that you can practice it on to see if everything is working. Let's make sure it runs. Okay, looks like we have an error. Let's see what our error is. When this happens, I usually just run Babel node so I can see it. Babel node source. Can't find modules. Oh, we need to fix our imports. Our resolvers. Is it in our resolvers? No. What is importing this? Can't find module. Oh, it's our index. So kill Seeker Burrito, kill Taco. Alright, now we're good. Okay, start the server. User not found in document. That's weird error. I haven't seen this before. Oh, GraphQL. Oh, I didn't create a user type. Right? I mean, I got rid of the user type. So what happened is, we can actually kill that. Let's go into GraphQL, remove npm debug. In my schema, notice how I only have the type to do and the type authorized. I also need a type user. I accidentally removed my type user. I actually needed it. which we can grab the email and to-dos for, which is a list of to-dos. And now we can come over to that, rerun this guy. Alright, start it up. So now we can come in over here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I think we needed to just go to the schema real quick. When we create a secret burrito, no. I don't think we can just create, so what I think that we're going to have a problem right now. So our mutation, what we want to do is create a to-do, right? We'll say to-do 1. Is it commas? I can't remember. And then complete is going to be false. Argument has invalid value, false, expected string found false. I thought I made complete, I made complete a boolean. So boolean GraphQL. Is there booleans in GraphQL? Here we go. This is not very helpful documentation. Okay, here we go. So it expected a string. We can give it a string. Can I create property of undefined? Okay, let's see what's happening on this side. Cannot read property create of undefined. Oh, okay. So that's one of our resolvers. So let's look at the resolvers. So to-dos is undefined. So to test this, let's console.log to-dos. And then we're going to clear, and we can, npm start. And let's see what gets console out. We should expect undefined. Yep, it does. So why is to-do, capital. Really still. Is it? Oh, you know what? I think I messed something up. I think it might be to-dos. I think I really messed up the spelling. Oh, we can't. I got rid of console. Okay, so the reason I think it's to-dos is Feathersjs always adds an S at the end of stuff. Nope, still undefined. Okay, there's one easy way to find this out. You go into that service, so to-do/index, it'll tell you the location. So this is the service, app.service to-dos. Okay. Thought I had that at one point, maybe not. Yeah, I did have it. I mean, we can do this thing. Still undefined. Why is it undefined? To-dos app.service. Oh, I know why it's undefined. Get rid of flux. So check this out, guys. If you go into index, for this, notice how to-do is after GraphQL. You need to make sure to set up to-do before GraphQL. That's what we're doing wrong. So if we go back into resolvers, I'm so sure this will work. Now get rid of that. Yep. Works just fine. Get rid of that. No, put false. Okay, still, it's still telling me expect. Oh, you know what? You know what, guys? I know what it is. If I go into the schema, I put string right here. It needs to be a boolean. Okay, now restart the server. Sometimes you have to refresh. Okay, authentication token missing. This is what we expected to get, or I was expecting to get. Reason for this: you need to be authenticated to do this, and I'm not authenticated. So what we're gonna do? So we're gonna create a user, and then we're gonna post with Postman. So let's put this guy. Right. Actually, this is a fine location. So we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna put it into a post request. And then we're gonna pass our token for this. So close some of this stuff. Close. So we're gonna make a post request. Post body raw JSON. Okay. So our query is this. And we just have to escape the to do. And then we need to add a token, which is a JWT token. And we're going to go to localhost 3030/GraphQL. This is the location, our endpoint for our GraphQL server. So what we're doing here is I'm gonna create a user using the interactive thing right here. So let's go ahead and I'll walk through while I'm doing this. So first I'm gonna sign up to create a user. So email Bob, password Bob. Create this guy, and now I'm gonna log in. Email Bob, password Bob. So we remember how we said we wanted to create to-dos to be authenticated? Well, that means I have to be logged in to create to-dos. You can't really log in this little IQL thing. So what we have to do is we have to make a post request and pass in this token. And this token lets us do requests and tells the Feather server that we're authenticated. So it'll run this command as if we're authenticated. So it allows us to create a to-do. So let's run that. And cool, create a to-do for us. And I just want to make sure there weren't any errors on the server. And it doesn't look like there was. I think this was from the old one. So when it created that little to-do thing, what it was supposed to do is it also added an owner ID. So I want to see if it did that for me. So if I go here, I'm just going to actually check the database itself. So I'm going to connect to React Native to-do and select all from not users from to-dos. What would be the name of the thing? To-dos, okay. Is it in quotation marks? Really? That's really annoying. Okay, so this is the to-do, and as I expected, there is no owner ID. So we have to create like a foreign key for this. So what I'm going to do, and when we make an edit to the schema, so that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go to source. So this is going to be an source services, and this is going to be the to-do schema, to-do model. So what we need to do is we need to make a relationship between the owner ID and the user. So SQLize foreign key. So let's see, does it tell us how we can do a foreign? Okay, here are foreign keys. Var user, this .sequelize.define. So I think we might need to like import the user. So we have var user. We already defined that. Okay. This .sequelize define company users belong user. This .sequelize define user company. I don't see where they're adding it. User belongs to company. A UUID. Okay. And in case where as has been defined, it will be used in place as the target model name. Okay. So what I think I want to do is I want to import the user model. So that'll be user model. So I import this, and this will return a user function sequelize. Okay. Do I need to pass? I don't know how I would do this in Feathersjs. Let's see if there's any docs on it. Feathersjs sequelize foreign key. This is just going to sequelize docs. Then service at the end of the module functions. Okay, so if we go up one, it looks like I was thinking that's where some of the okay, here it is. This is where some of the SQL or where some of the functions are actually being used. App.configure. So app.configure must run this and make sure the schema is okay. So let's go back. How are they creating class methods associate? Because what I need to do is I need to pass like a let's see if there's another way. Because notice how they pass an object. If I can pass the name of the table that it is related to, I could do it through there. One to many. Project has many as workers. So basically what we would like to do is we'd like to say in our user, our user model, just say user.hasMany and then to-dos basically is what we'd like to accomplish. Now the actual syntax to do this, I do not know. So it looks like what's happening is we need to put it here. Okay, so I think just looking at this, I'm gonna try this syntax and see if it works. So const to do is equal to require. We need to go up a level. Then we need to go into to-dos. Oops, no, that's fine. To-do. Then I need to go into to-do model. And I think that'll give us this function right here where we pass in the sequelize. So notice inside this function what we can do is we can say const to do. We'll say this, we'll call this to do func. Get to do, we'll say this is to do scheme, that's fine. To do func, passing in the sequelize that we get from the user. And this should be the to do schema over here. And now we can do this has many. So user.hasMany, and then we want to say to do as to do's. I have no idea if this is going to work at all, but to test whether this works we have to kill the schema. So I have to go into pSQL, drop database. Okay, I dropped it. Now I need to create database rn to do. Okay, so basically I can actually just drop all the tables. I don't have to drop. Anyway, basically I need to refresh the database so it can remake the schema. So let's start and see if the schema gets made. Oh, also I need to call this like owner ID, not to-dos. Validation error. Unhandled rejection validation error. Okay, so this is just straight a terrible error message. So we call this user to do model. Freeze table name. Is it because this is already synced possibly? Let's see what I'm going to read this guy some more. So how is he trying to do this? Permission ID, sequelize default primary key, okay. Permissions. Role permissions. Do you have pointers? Help me solve this. Thanks. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Oh. This is kind of weird. Oh, I wonder if I kind of want to just like console log this sequelize for a second. Oops, no, this sequelize. And see if there's like, actually never mind. I was thinking for a second maybe it would have like the tables in it possibly. You know what, why not? I just want to console log to see what the sequelize object is. So npm start. That's interesting. It didn't crash after the valid. Hey, why didn't it crash? I didn't change anything. That's interesting. I want to see what the field is now. This is not what I thought it was going to be anyway. Okay, so it didn't crash. I'm really curious what the schema looks like. So I'm going to type pSQL. I didn't explain this earlier, but this opens up connection to the Postgres, so then I can look at the database. but you might have figured that out by now. Select all from to-dos. I don't know why this is in quotes. I really don't like that. Created at, updated at. Okay, so it didn't create it. So this is in the sequelize define class methods, associate models, role permissions to, oh, don't add role permissions, let's sync here. Okay. I think I know now. If I go into freeze table, I wonder if it'll be in the same comma. Okay, so it's in the same thing as freeze table names. Okay. Associate models. That looks like it's a syntax error. Okay, so class methods, and also I need to go into index. I need to make sure this to-do is created before the user. That way it exists, and the user can then, the user exists here. That way we can associate it. So, role permissions. Where is this coming from? This, oh, I guess from here, but it's inside of it. So how can it be calling itself? So class methods is an object. This object has, I don't even know, this won't compile, I don't think. I mean, not compile, run. Like, I just want to put up console.log models. I don't even think this will work. Oh, it probably doesn't go here because the schema is already created. pSQL drop database, create database. Start. Just a validation error. Oh, I need to get rid of this. That was stupid. Okay. So I just dropped and created the database to refresh it. It does compile. This doesn't do anything though. Class methods associate. Let's see if there's anything else. Wow, this is a really, really long post. Okay, yeah, he's adding a foreign key. We're assuming call from, if we're not, though, you has the app instance. Class methods. This guy does this associate thing too. How come my associate's not being called though? How do I want to do this? See if anyone else has anything else. Set model relations belongs to okay, this guy does the same thing. He uses model 1. Sure, let's try this. Model 1 that has many models. Okay, for whatever reason, this console log is not giving me anything. Hello, we'll put models. And then I'm just going to try doing how they do it. So model 1. And he has freeze table names above. Okay. So this is called user has many models dot and then let's see, what did I call it? To do model. To do's. So let's just see what happens with that. We'll drop, create, and we'll get out of here. Then we'll start the server. So the application started. Now let's check the database and see if the database has changed. Nope. We wouldn't expect anything from this. I don't think associate is being called. I really don't. Nothing is getting logged. Just for kicks. I don't know why it's not being called though. Let's also put it in the to-do model. To-do. We won't actually do anything in there either. And actually I should stay in here. We're dropping and creating. And let's start. Nothing. Class method associate not being called. Sequelize. associate is a function. Let's try it like that. Is it really just because I wrote the function like that? No. User definition, then there are the class methods. Well, this is a really annoying error that looks like it's going to take a while to hunt down. Class methods, instance methods. What's the difference? This doesn't really say much. Let's just Google general class methods equalize. All the methods you don't modify. They don't modify or check any type. Okay. No. Let's just look for an example, I guess. Postgres Feathersjs example. That's exactly what we need. I don't really, how can I do this? I make it so. I'm running into a similar error I keep getting. I'm starting a database that codes your identical except. Let's see how he did it though. Because he got it working, it sounds like, once. Comments.sequelize.models. Okay. That's what we want. So we'll get rid of this. Get rid of that. And if we go into users, user, now we're in users to do. Oops, do I have it open somewhere? Oh, I'm being dumb. I thought I had users open. User model. Okay. Can get rid of this. And then user, I want to say sequelize.models. comments dot, is it okay. So user dot has many model and then to do, and then we want to do as, and we'll call it owner ID. This is feeling promising. Let's open up pSQL. Oops. Drop, create, get out, VM start. All right, let's start it up. That's a very good sign. So let's go into you and then select all from, would it be user? I don't know, it doesn't, we shouldn't see anything user. Good. Select all from to do. We don't see this field either. We just did a freaking association. We didn't get an error. Has many is 1 to n, I hope. Maybe my understanding of it is incorrect. 1 to many is connected. The target server are getting connected to exactly one specific. This attribute project ID is needed. It should automatically through. Oh, did I do? We definitely should be using this syntax though. That shouldn't affect anything. Has many to-dos. Why does that not affect the database? Do I need to then, let's go back up here. Does he add a UUID? Nope. Tutorial, did you show? I mean, I know why he's getting that error. As artist, set immediate. Oh, did I need to call this stuff for to get this class methods? Probably. Okay, we might need this later. I'll keep this up. So I'm thinking I need to go into to-do and sequelize. So how does the foreign key work? Create this. Will this be an owner? You know what? Actually, let's, before I do any of this stuff, I want to look at the documentation for to-do hooks. Associate current user. Associate current user Feathersjs. Okay, that's not what I wanted to click on. Okay, so it has no documentation. That's great. Because I wanted to see if it creates that table field for you and it like alters the database later. I think we're just going to have to play around with it and see. Okay, so this is what I want to try. I want to touch this model and I want to create a owner ID. It's not going to be a primary key though. It's just going to be a UUID. Let me make sure I think a UUID is what I think it is. So, I mean, I just want to see one to mem. Has many foreign key. Okay, so we need to do something like this. I'm going to just leave this on the screen for a second for you guys to look at, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So when we do this has many, we want to create a foreign key, it looks like, which we call owner ID, not this as crap. So you can actually kill that. So okay, so comment this dot comment. Okay, image has many comment belongs to constraints false scope commentable foreign key owner ID. Let's try that. See if that does anything. Okay, let's go into pSQL. Drop create npm start. Cool, it started okay. So let's open up pSQL, connect to rn, and we'll select all from to do. That was bad syntax. No, it doesn't have the owner. Okay, what about user? It doesn't have anything either. So that has many thing is, should we say constraints true? Okay, so we assume we have a tables of const, and the const can be associated with either image. Since maybe I do want to add a constraint. The foreign key, let's just look at the foreign key again too. user belongs to company, we'll add company ID to user. We want to do it the other way around. We want a user ID so we want to touch to do. We want to do dot belongs to, and we'll say sequelize dot models dot user. I just want to see what that will do. Because, okay, so I'd really like to see like just a field show up from doing these relationships, but I'm not getting anything. Looks like we got probably the same error. Node source. Nope, my scroll is messed up. Something that's not an instance. So let's pipe this to a log file so you can see what's going on. Okay. Maybe because we didn't add a UUID. No. It does this twice. It's unclear of what's going on here. Oops. I'm curious if I need to do this. Const model sequelize. Object values. Dot filter. Sure. Let's try this. And sequelize. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Let's get rid of the log. So this is going to be an index. So we're going to copy this. Sequelize sync. And then, okay, so we're not doing the sync here. We sync there. This is after configure. Yep. After configure, we do that. Then we do sequelize.sync. Sync everything up. Set up relationships. Okay. Okay. Call that good. Can remove that log. So now let's go into the to-do. Hooks. Nope. Now we can create this class method stuff that we were seeing earlier. Okay, so associate models. So this is to do has many. That's not what we want to do though. We want to do this for C services, GraphQL, do this for user, hooks, user model. And we're going to say user has models dot to-dos. Let's see what happens with that. And let's comment that out for now. Comment you out. Comment out both the syncs. So we're not syncing those two. Let's reset our database. Okay, I just tried to clear that. Drop syntax. All right. Create. And we want to just npm start. Okay, so that's what I expected to happen because it worked before with this, because I'm doing has many again. Actually, I want to console.log and see if this is doing anything still. I think it is because we're actually calling it now, because I didn't know we had to call it before. I want to connect to database. Select all from to-dos, comma, users. Yes, this is what I've been waiting for, guys. This is what I've been waiting for. User ID right here. Right there. We got it. And we just do owner ID. Oh no, we actually need a p-SQL because I need to drop this. Okay, so why is this important? Why is this big? So notice how we have this column user ID. We haven't had this before. So what this has mini added was this column user ID, which associated the to-do table and this user table. So now they're related. Users can have multiple to-dos. That's what has many means. So if I come into here, now I notice how I did this as owner ID. That should change the name of this column to owner ID. Owner ID matches what we had in our hook earlier. So let's just connect. Select all from to-dos. And it's still user ID. That's weird. That's really weird. So what's going on there? Maybe I need to say foreign key instead. Drop. Cannot. Wait, what? We haven't had that problem. Oops, we haven't had that problem before, where we have that open database thing. I don't know why that just popped up. So I don't know if I need to use like a different keyword to get the column name. I could just change the hook to user ID, but that seems like a bad. I want to actually know how to do this. Can we just, yeah. Yes, yes, guys. Look, owner ID. Okay, that was a lot harder than it needed to be. A lot harder. So let's save our freaking way too hard of work. Okay, so it's not a Git repo. Just gonna be in to do models. Okay, kill all this stuff. Thank you, thank you. And let's go up to the top. Server get init. Get status. We don't need vagrant. Get status again. That looks good. Add it all. This is our initial commit. And I'm just going to put this on GitHub. Create a new one. React native to do server. Grab that code, bye, and it's up on GitHub. So we finally got that stuff. Now, I think, okay, yeah. So what I wanted to happen was when I created a to-do list associated to the user. So I'm gonna create another user because remember we reset the database a bunch, so the user's gone. So create a Bob user. Need to make sure to do npm start. Failed to fetch. It means we just need to refetch. Oh, did it? Oh, it just needs to take a second. Okay, so we're gonna run that, create our user. Now we can log in. Bob. Password Bob. Copy our token. Now we can go over to Postman, put our token in. Send. Create a to-do. Now we're going to come back to our database. What are we looking for? We're going to connect to our database. And we want to select all. And voila! This owner ID matches up with our user. Okay, that's what we wanted. This is a good place to be. So our backend, at least for this simple to-do, is done. So let's go hop back. Well, I can just leave this running. I'm going to leave it running. I'm going to open up a new tab. And now I'm going to start working on the front end. I apologize for how long it took. If I don't think anyone will even continue watching past that horrendous what we just went through to get it working. We went through documentation and just ugliness. So I thank you if anyone is still watching after that. I'm going to kill the Android and the iOS. We don't need these two. Actually, what am I talking about? We do. Index.android.js, touch index.ios.js. Sorry, we need both of these, but they're going to basically point to the same folder. So I'll show you how we're going to do this. We're going to make a folder called source, and then in source we create an index.js, and then we basically redirect index.android.js and index.ios.js to it. So I have another project that I did this with right here, so I'm just going to copy how I did that. So index Android. Okay, so it's getting this app container. This is basically just a wrapper for the app, and I'm going to call it, I think it just, and same thing, you can literally copy index Android to index iOS. Okay, so they're both looking for this source index, this app container thing. So if we go to my React Native app, We go into our source index. We'll be setting up all this jazz in a little bit to get Redux working and stuff. But for now, let's just create a little view that says hi to make sure everything is working. RxJS, very cool. Okay, let's hop over to, let's push these two guys together. Okay, so we can reload it, our app. Come on. There you go. Okay, corresponding closing tag, tet. Oh my gosh, I pushed Command Q instead of Command R. I'm sorry, guys. React native run iOS. Because, okay, so to refresh the little app in iOS, the little emulator, you do Command R, and I was doing Command Q on accident. I'm so trained to do that. That was my apologies. Okay, we don't need this anymore, though. So it's going to load back up. So I can talk about real quick, not this React Native. I want to talk about the UI component that we're going to be using to make the app look pretty. I found this really cool library that I like, and I used for this. So if we go to the package, which one did I use? Here it is, React Native Elements. Really like this one. They have some really nice components. Pretty popular. I'll just show you. So today we'll set up a login page and stuff. Pretty nice looking login form. Cool looking button. They have a lot of different stuff. I'll just show you. Go up to the top. Look at all these components that they have. And they look really nice too. And they look really nice on Android and iOS. Okay, so this finished building. Say hi. Cool, it does. Source index. Okay, so we have both Android and iOS pointing to this right now. We won't immediately jump into the UI of this. You know what, I actually want to, I think I'm going to end here for now. I think I want to finish starting the front end more tomorrow. Since we got the back end took so long to get set up. I think I'm just going to leave it here. All right, so next video we're going to start on the front end and get that rolling. And start making this app come together. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice night.